am trying something new this week with this live stream. I'm streaming to a couple of different platforms. I'm streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope, and hopefully that also goes to Twitter. So for those of you who are out there watching on those platforms, thank you so much. I've been doing these Facebook live for a while now, and I'm really excited about. I want to pull something up here. I'm really excited about having you guys here and doing this live stream on multiple different channels. So today I want to talk about passwords, and I think a lot of people are going to say, okay, well, I hope you don't tune out right now because, man, he's going to talk about passwords again. And let me be clear, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of, oh man, you need to have a secure password. I think everybody at this point knows that a secure password is really one of the best ways of protecting yourself. But what I do want to talk to you today about is keeping a secure password on multiple systems and why I use a completely different password for every online account that I have. So what I found when I talk to a lot of people is that I see a lot of people using the exact same password everywhere. Okay, you might have, even though it might be a very secure password, and that's great, but they use that one on all their accounts, their Facebook, their bank, their Twitter account, their, everything else. So, this is something we kind of preach in the cybersecurity industry is, we call it password reuse. And mostly it's because it's difficult to remember, 100 passwords. So, why do we preach the password reuse? Well, let me tell you what happens if somebody breaches one of the accounts that you have, and they're able to break your password. Let me show you something here. I've got the website haveibeenpwned.com up, and I went ahead and I searched for my email address, and you can see, I'm sitting here willing to show you guys that there are multiple breaches that my email address has been through. And the first, one is recent. It's a collection of email addresses and passwords that were built into a list. They don't necessarily know where it all came from, but it showed up on maybe a hacker forum or something of that nature. And then, I've Outlook and Kickstarter both had breaches, right? So if you guys have never used haveibeenpwned.com before, really think you should go ahead and check that out. It's run by a security researcher, and he goes out and he collects password breaches. So anytime a website is breached and data is released by that website, so that could be email addresses, could be passwords, could be name, phone number, address, like anything that these companies may have on you could potentially get breached. So when he finds those out there, and a lot of times these hackers, they'll breach the website and then they'll sell the data to somebody else. So he goes out and he finds these breaches, he collects them, and he puts them into a database. And then you can search your email address, and it will tell you, where your email address shows up. So let's take a look at, even Kickstarter down here, right? So if I'm running on Kickstarter.com and Kickstarter gets breached, now they have maybe an encrypted password. Okay, say they're able to break that encryption, or say that Kickstarter isn't really storing your password in a very secure manner, and we saw this just a couple weeks ago where Facebook had, a security researcher found that there was a database out there that Facebook was storing non-encrypted, so what we call plain text or just your password in a not really very well protected database. So it happens. So hackers are able to get this. Now, if my password on Kickstarter is the same as my password on my bank, then I have a problem, right? Because they now have my email address, they have that password. They don't necessarily know what accounts I have, but they can figure that out just by trying, right? Just by trying to see if those credentials work anywhere. So, if I'm stepping into the shoes of an attacker, I'm going to take that username and password combo. I'm going to try that on Facebook. I'm going to try that on Gmail. I'm going to try that maybe on Yahoo Mail, maybe go to a couple of banks. Like in the US, the big banks are like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all those, the bigger banks. I can go and try that same username and password combo. And if that is the same, like I said, maybe my Kickstarter password is the same as my bank password, that attacker is going to get in, assuming I don't have two-factor authentication turned on. But that's a different subject, and I think we'll probably cover that later. But basically, yeah, if my password is the same everywhere, it only takes a hacker breaching one unsecure website to be able to get into all of the personal data that I really do care about. So that's why I try my hardest to create a very unique password in every single one of my sites. Now, the way I do that, because I obviously can't remember a unique password for every single site out there. It's, I have a finite amount of memory, and, I can't keep all of those letters, special characters, numbers stored away in my head for every website. So I use LastPass, and I use that password manager. And then there's a couple different ones out there, and honestly, it really doesn't matter which one you use. I use LastPass; it's my preference, but there's others out there. Dashlane, there's KeePass, and there's a couple new ones coming up on the market too, which look really interesting. But I have it all set up in a LastPass encrypted vault. And I think the last I checked was like something like 250, 300 different sites. And LastPass creates a unique and very complex password for every one of those sites and saves it for me. So I never have to remember it. When I go to that site, it already fills in my username and password, and it, does a great job of remembering that for me, and I can sign in with that, and then I don't worry. So in the case of Kickstarter here, I don't concern myself with whether or not that site was breached. If it was, okay, then I go and change that password, and I don't have to be concerned about, does that password, is that also the one for my bank account, or did I use that same password for Gmail? No, I don't have to worry about that because I know everything's unique, because when I sign up for accounts, I set a brand new unique password. So I really think that, it's super valuable to be able to have that ability. The unique passwords are so important and really helps you to secure yourself. So that's kind of my talk for today. I did want to mention one more time my free class that I launched last week. If you go to the URL right here, sloseksecurity.com/5steps, I talk about 5 simple and easy to use steps to protect yourself online when you're browsing. The internet has become kind of a dangerous place, but it doesn't have to be. There are simple, easy to use things that you can set up that will, protect you from hackers and scammers and bad guys online, because they're all over the place. But the idea is making yourself less of a target. The less of a target you are, the more likely that hacker's going to go after somebody else, because they're after what we call the low-hanging fruit. right? If you're not low-hanging fruit, the likelihood of you getting hacked is much, much less. So, the course is designed to be taken over 5 days. No lecture in that course is more than 10 minutes. So it's 10 minutes a day for 5 days. And if you implement and you do the things that I tell you to do in this course, it really does help to make sure that, a hacker's not going to get into your computer or get into your accounts. And in that class, I talk about using LastPass. And I talk about why it's important, just like I talked to you guys today about it. So I really think, it's a valuable course. I hope people enjoy it, and I'm giving it away completely free. I want people to be able to learn how to secure themselves. I want people to be able to be safe online, because I know from having to clean up after hackers and scammers, I know what a pain that is and how much trauma that causes every individual who may have ever gotten hacked. And I bet you probably know somebody who has been hacked in the past, or maybe you have. You probably have seen weird requests that come in from your friends, or on Facebook, or you've seen that weird email that's like, ooh, I don't know if I should click that link or not, right? Hackers are out there and they're indiscriminate. They don't care about who you are. They just want your information. They want your data. They want to be able to install their viruses and their malware on your computer. So by taking this course, again, 10 minutes a day, it's not a lot of your time, and you don't have to be a technical wizard. You don't have to be an IT guy. Anybody can do these things. I pride myself with being able to explain things to people who don't have a lot of technical or technology experience. And the beauty of being a part of the class, too, is that you get access to me. You get access to ask me any question you may have. There's, the forum within the course, and you can ask those questions there. You get access to my email. You can ask me questions, and that's all great. So, I really hope that you guys consider it. Again, completely free, 100% free. Go to the link right here, sloseksecurity.com/5steps. I'm trying this new thing, so I'm hoping that if there are questions or there's chats coming in, if you have any questions about any cyber topic or, internet safety thing, please feel free to put that into the chat window. Now I'm more than happy to try and answer anything I can. Again, I'm also using a new program that's allowing me to stream out to multiple services. So I'm really hoping that I'm hoping it's working, that if you are asking questions in the chat, that I'm able to see them. I'm not seeing any right now. So if that's the case, I'm going to sign off for the day, but I really do appreciate everything and appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have questions, don't hesitate to put them into the chat window of the recording here, whether that be on Facebook or on YouTube or on Periscope, and I will be more than happy to answer any question you may have. And if it's a longer explanation, your question might actually just be the topic of my next live stream. So thank you again, and please check out my 5 Steps to Safer Online Browsing free mini course.